Hola mi gente, Joe Barreto with you today from Florida, as you can tell by my attire. Happy National Puerto Rican Day Parade back home to everyone back in New York. Down here in Florida, I don't think they're celebrating that, but I digress. Well, anyway, today is going to be a special video because I'm going to do for the first time my first question and answer session. It's going to be a long one, but I hope you stay till the end because I have a lot of different questions from a lot of different people from a lot of places. And I think it's going to be really interesting and exciting for you to see. And maybe you've had some of these questions yourself and you were like, well, I don't know, what I should do. I don't know how to ask them. But please always feel free to ask me. Send me an email on any of the social media, Instagram, Facebook, on the YouTube channel, whatever it is. Please always feel free to just be comfortable enough to reach out to me. Again, if you like any of this information that I'm going to give you, you find it a little entertaining, you think it brings you value, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers in 5 months, which is pretty good, I think. So I'm at 1,800. I need 200 more to get to 2,000 subscribers. So if you guys can do me a solid, reach out to your friends, share this video around when you get it, and this way you'll be helping me out a heck of a lot. I really appreciate it. I also want to make mention that I'm up to 1.3 million points in 5 months. I'm going to do another video on that in detail, but I got to tell you, it's been a long haul for the past 5 months. It's been crazy hectic and busy. It's a lot of work. But I'm going to share with you in the next week or so how I got there, what I did to get those points, how do I use my cards and so on, and to show you that it is doable. It's not impossible. It's a lot of work, but it's doable, and I'm hoping to reap those benefits and rewards in the future. So let's jump into this video. And again, strap yourself in, sit back, relax, get a coffee, get some water, because we're into it. Let's get started. I got a question from Lilium. Lilium, I thank you for reaching out to me on my YouTube community tab. And she wants to know, which card do I want next and why? So, as some of you might know that have been watching the channel, the only card so far that's giving me a little bit of a headache to apply for has been the American Express green card. I'm still fighting the good fight. I got off the phone yesterday with a representative who said they opened a case for me because he can see my point of view where I was responding to a pre-approval. All right, it wasn't a qualification. I was pre-approved. And he wants to see what happened that I didn't get the offer for the bonus points. So that's still on my list of cards to get, the American Express Green. And more than anything else, I wanted to get that one because I'm planning a trip to my cousin's wedding, my cousin Noel's wedding in Switzerland. And the green card has a lot of great travel purchases, especially for like trains and things like that, and ferries, which we are going to do over there. So I'm hoping if I do get this card in time, I'm able to utilize it for those benefits and also take advantage of the highest offer they've ever had of 60,000 membership rewards points. The other card is going to be the Capital One Venture X. Now, do I need the Capital One Venture X? To be honest with you, no, I don't. I already have premium cards. However, I want this card so that for this channel, I like bringing you guys the information after I've used the cards, after I've, gone through the good and bad of them. I want to be able to report to you something that has value that I can honestly tell you, look, I did this and this is what happened. So that's the main reason why I want the Capital One Venture X card. However, Capital One is a real pain in the neck when it comes to approving people. They don't like when you do apply for them and you have zero balances on your cards and you have multiple cards, and they want people that carry a balance. They tend to like the subprime applications because they're getting money back from the people carrying a balance month to month. So I'm not applying for them just yet because I have opened up a ton of cards. Okay, just recently, 2 days ago, while I was here in Florida, I got approved for the Chase Business Inc. cash card. I have the unlimited. I got the cash card. And just a quick note, I was able to get a higher amount on it doing the reallocation I spoke about on the last video I put up. I took money from the Ink Unlimited and had to move it over to the cash so that I had a greater limit so that I could use that as well. So that's just something else. Like I say, keep that in mind. Next question is from Jimmy James. Jimmy, thank you once again for being so supportive of the channel and for reaching out. Now, he's asking, why did I decide to do the videos and get into the points and miles? Jimmy, I appreciate this question. I was a guidance counselor at Manhattan Center High School for 33 years in New York City, and I retired in 2021. I still keep in touch with all my students who are my friends. And, it was more of a mix of a population. And in seeing that there was a need, because there's been a lack of information for, to be honest with you, politically correct or not, people of color. So for the Latinos, the blacks, South Asians, we're always taught when we were kids, cash is king, the credit is not good, the credit can be evil. Credit cards are bad things to do, don't do it. And I realized that that's not the case. I want to be able to teach people that they can use credit and improve their credit as a tool to help their finances and to help their lives in general, to be honest with you. I also wanted to learn how to do the points and miles because now that I am retired, I have more free time to be able to travel and to do the things that I've always wanted to do my whole life. Like when you look on TV and you go, hey, how did that guy, was he able to go travel for free and fly upgraded and all this other stuff? That's why one of the reasons why I chose to do it. But I want to give back to the people what I've learned myself and have been practicing, the good and the bad. And that's why a number of the videos that I put out also are in Spanish so that I can broadcast that out to the people who want to know more. And let's say the language barrier is an issue. And even though, like I say, my Spanish not very good looking, I still try to do my best to get that information out there. So Jimmy, thanks again for your question. Next up is Cesar, my Boricua brother, Cesar Joel from Puerto Rico. So supportive of me. I really appreciate that, Pa. I really, really and truly do. Which card would I cancel and why? That's a tough one, Cesar. I'm not sure which card I would cancel as of yet. In my opinion, if the card has no annual fee, there's no need for me to really cancel it because it doesn't cost me anything. Especially if I have a zero balance on it, I could throw it in a drawer and use it whenever I need to use it. However, I might do a product change from the Chase Sapphire Preferred to the Chase Sapphire Reserve next April 2024, when I've had the card for a year, because you're only allowed to have one Chase Sapphire card. And the Reserve gives you lounge access and other travel perks, $300 in travel credit and so on. So I'd be able to change it without really applying and without getting a hit to my credit score through a hard inquiry. So that might be something I do. But right now, Cesar, I have about $1,500 yearly in fees. But in my eyes, especially like I just said, 1.3 million miles and cash value, the points guy has it at about $19,000 if I just use it for cash. Award Wallet has it worth about $18,800 just for cash. But if you use it for travel, transferring out, you're looking at 3 to 4 times that amount. So if I go up to 4 times that amount, I'm looking at close to $80,000 of value that I've gotten from having those cards literally since the end of December to now. Today is June 11th. Okay. So thank you again, Cesar, for the support. Right now, I'm not sure if I'm going to close anything, but I might do that product change next year. Next question is from Charles Velez. Should I cancel a card? Charles, you should only cancel a card if it has a high annual fee and it brings you absolutely no value. If you don't use it, if you don't even think about it, if you haven't used it in a long time to make a purchase or for travel, and you haven't had it for a long time, and it had a high fee attached, like an Amex Platinum for $695, let's say, or even the Gold Card at $250. It's a lot of money. Okay, not everybody has that to do it. I would tell you, if you weren't using it and utilizing the benefits that come with it, cancel it. However, if you have a card, let's say when you were in college, a Discover card that has no annual fee and you have no balance, but that card now is 10, 11, 12 years old, that counts towards your length of credit history. If you remove that, you've just shortened your time by a heck of a lot. And then your credit score is going to suffer, because a good chunk of the percentage that they look at is length of credit history. So you never want to let go of your oldest card. Don't forget that. You never want to let go of your oldest card, especially if there's no annual fee attached. Okay, Charles? Thanks for being so supportive, Charles. Thanks for always, looking at the channel and making comments. I really appreciate that. Next question is from Carlos V. I don't have Amex, but what do you suggest? Well, for Amex, I would say, and I'm not bitter, but the green card for $150 right now. And, they're also having the highest bonus of 60,000 membership rewards points and a $200 statement credit. It's great for travel. It's great to throw on your Easy Pass, especially if you're traveling back and forth, crossing the bridges and tolls and things like that. You're going to get 3 times back on those purchases. So it's a great card to have at $150 a year. You really can't beat it. The same goes for the gold. The gold is $250 a year. I would tell you to do that, especially if you have a lot of spend on groceries and dining out and things of that nature. It also gives you 3 times back on travel for airlines and so on. So I think it's a great solid pick, any of those 2 cards you go. If you want to go outside of Amex for other card choices, again, Chase Sapphire Preferred is a mid-tier travel card at $95 a year. And it gives you travel benefits such as primary car rental insurance, Capital One Venture X, the one I spoke to you guys about earlier, for $395, but you get back $300 back on travel credit if you do the purchases through Capital One Travel Portal. Plus, they give you $10,000 as an anniversary bonus every year, which equates to $100 cash back. So in essence, you get $400 worth of value from the Capital One Venture X, and the card itself is $395 a year. So they're giving you $5 to have the card. So Carlos, I would suggest any one of those cards I just mentioned. And if you have any other questions about those or which ones might benefit your particular circumstance or what you want to use it for, please feel free to reach out to me. Next one, this is funny because it's not really a question, but I got to give a shout out here. As I was telling you earlier, I retired from being a guidance counselor. And, my girl, Shari Vasquez, just says, hey, Barreto, no questions, just showing some love. Give me a shout out. Shari, I'm going to give you the shout out. Saying goes to Lisauris Canela, who's always been a huge supporter. I really appreciate that, Lisauris. My boy, Ralphie Sandoval, sending you lots of love, Pa. God bless you. And to the rest of my Manhattan Center for High School, for Science and Math High School, God bless you guys. I miss you. I miss my friends back there. And I just wish you guys all the best always. And I'm here for you if you ever need anything. Next question is from Sean C. Now, I have to edit his question a little bit because it was kind of funny. He goes, I don't want any BS cards. I want to know which one's the best that really offer true rewards with no really, strings attached, right? So, again, for me, the Chase Sapphire Preferred is a fantastic card for $95. You get a lot of travel protections. You get great multipliers back on dining and travel. You'll get primary rental insurance on cars. You'll get protections for purchases. It's really a worldwide card. So where Amex might fail in some of those situations in certain European countries, Chase, because it's a Visa card, they're going to accept it in more locations. So, Sean, I would tell you Chase does offer you a lot of rewards. You get right now is a 60,000 point sign up bonus. It was down from the 80,000 that was on a couple of months ago, but they always go back and forth. So I would tell you to look at that first before you make any decisions as to whether you want to apply or not. And the other cards would be, believe it or not, through Chase, the Freedom Flex. If you're into the categories where you'll get 5% cash back on certain categories throughout the year, it's huge. It's a great, what we call catch-all card. So I would tell you to do that and look into that card as well if you want a cashback card. And the American Express Blue Cash Everyday card, because it's an easy card to use and it gives you up to a year. I'm not sure if it's a year or 15 months of no interest. And that includes balance transfers. Okay, so right now with interest rates being up to 27.9%, getting it for no interest for 12 to 15 months and 2% cash back on everything you spend, to me, that is a super solid card to have, because you don't have to rack your brains about the categories. You don't have to worry about, oh my God, the calendar just changed. I need to see whether or not this is going to be good, because you do have to change it. When it comes to the Chase Freedom Flex, it's your responsibility to change the cards over to those categories, not the other way around. So you have to be on top of that. So I would suggest to you any of the cards that I mentioned, the Flex for $95, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and for nothing a year, the Amex Blue Cash Everyday card, I think is a solid pick. I also want to go now to give Kevin Schmidt a shout out and thank you for being a loyal subscriber, Kevin. Kevin, about 3 weeks ago, needed a card. He was traveling to Ireland and he used my referral link for the American Express Gold card. And at that time, the Gold card offer was 60,000 points with a $200 statement credit. Kevin got 90,000 points and the $200 statement credit right off the bat using my referral link. And he sent me a picture with him, being approved on his phone. And when he got the card, did the same. So I was glad that that worked out for you, Kevin. But he's asking now, which card is best for travel if you are not loyal to any particular hotel or airline brand? Now, that's a great question, because you could pick from various hotel chains from Hilton, Marriott, Hyatt, IHG, and so on. And airlines, American Airlines, United, JetBlue, Etihad, British Airways, and so on. And most of those bigger hotel chains and bigger airlines have their own versions of credit cards that you could apply for. The problem is this: if you stick with a hotel or airline branded card, the points you require are only going to be for that particular brand. So if you open up, a Hilton's card, an Honors card, you'll get, I don't know if the offer right now, I believe it's maybe 75,000 points or so for opening up the card. But then even though Amex is the co-brand to that card, you're not getting membership rewards points, you're just getting Hilton points. So if you're not loyal to any brand and you want flexibility in where to put those points and maximize your choices and maximize what you're going to do, then I'm going to tell you two cards, which we've spoken about a lot in this video already, from two different brands, and I'll throw in a third just for the heck of it, for giggles. The American Express Gold, which you already have, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, which is very similar to the Gold in how it works with higher values given in dining and travel protections and so on, but it's a lot cheaper at $95. And right now, like I said, $60,000 bonus welcome offer right now if you apply. The Amex Gold is $250. Now with Amex, if you use the referral link like I did, you might get a 1/3 more of a better offer, right, by doing it. But if you go through an incognito browser, or if you go to Resi, because Amex owns Resi, they have offers there as well. Those are places that you can check to see where you're going to get the most value for those particular cards. Now, this is what you do with those cards. Let's say you go the Chase route and you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred. What I would tell you to do, and I'm going to allude to that in another question later on, is if you had two cards, so let's say you had the Chase, either Freedom Unlimited or the Chase Freedom Flex, and you match that up with the Preferred or the Reserve, if you want to go up higher and get a little bit more of a value, because Chase values its preferred points on their portal at 1.25 and the Reserve at 1.5. So you get a boost per se. So let's say you had 50,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points and you want to go stay at a Hyatt. You don't need a Hyatt credit card necessarily. What you do is you open up a Hyatt account, right? A World of Hyatt account online, and you can transfer those Chase points into Hyatt. And now that you have 50,000 Hyatt points, because they go in 1-to-1, you can use your 50,000 points to, do whatever stay you want to choose at that point. And you can keep adding to that. So if you just want to literally use Hyatt and build up your Chase points and roll them into Hyatt, that's what you can do. On the flip side with Amex has Hilton. That, again, you don't necessarily need a Hilton co-branded card. You can have just a Hilton account that you open with them. Transfer your membership reward points into Hilton. The transfers there is not 1-to-1. There's a little bit of a difference. But you would then be able to use those points to stay at Hilton properties. Same for Marriott. Okay? So if you're looking for more flexibility in hotels, that's what I would tell you to do. Same with airlines. Certain airlines match up through their alliances with certain hotel credit card brands. So you're going to see where there's certain airlines that would only do either American Express or Chase, or certain international airlines that pick one or the other. So make sure that before you put your points into any other travel partner, you need to make sure that that's what you want to do, because you can't reverse it. You can't say, okay, you know what, I changed my mind. I don't want to stay at the Hyatt, so let me go get my 50,000 points and put it back into Chase. Once they're out, you're done. There's no way out of that. There's no turning back. So make sure when you do that redemption that you know exactly what you're doing. Make sure you know that that's where you want to spend your money. That's where you want to spend the points, and that's who you're going to use to fly and to stay. So make sure you do the homework before you use any of those cards that I just recommended to you to use for travel if you don't want to stay to one particular brand. Thanks again, Kevin. I really appreciate that. Now, on a totally different topic, and this is a great question. Wiggles hit me up on my community tab on my YouTube channel. Wiggles, I appreciate you reaching out. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate the support. What credit score should I have if I'm looking to buy a home? Now, I'm not a realtor, not a real estate agent, none of that. But I can tell you, in doing the homework that I did looking this up for you, according to Experian, now Experian is one of the three major credit score companies, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Experian generally says that if you have a 620 to 660 score, that should approve you for a number of lenders out there for a home of $300,000. If you're looking for a $300,000 home or a mortgage of $300,000, you should have at least a score of 620 to 660. However, a higher loan amount is going to require you to have a higher credit score so that you don't get hit over the head with higher interest rates. Okay. And the rates right now in the housing market from a couple of years ago, they were down, in the high 2s to 3%. And now they're hovering in the 7 and 8% range, depending on your credit worthiness. So if you're looking at a house that has a value, let's say, of 400 to 500,000, I'm going to be honest with you. Make sure your score is at least a 720, because that's the score that most lenders, according to the research I've done for you, is saying that you're going to need to get approved for better rates. The higher the score, the lower your interest rate, which when you think about it, if you're doing a 15 or a 30-year mortgage, that's a long time to accrue interest. So even a quarter of a point, a half a point, whatever it is that you're going to save, that is huge. You're talking tens of thousands by the time you finish paying off that mortgage. So you need to make sure your credit score comes in high. You don't want to have a lot of inquiries at that point for other things. Like, let's say you decided to go to a store and because they were offering a special and they wanted you to open up a store card for them, let's say Macy's. You don't want that hard inquiry on your report. You want to make sure you don't have any inquiries for a while. I would say at least 3 to 6 months. And you want to make sure that your score is at the bottom end, 660 to at least 720. The higher, the better. And you will save yourself a lot of interest and a lot of headaches. I promise you that. So Wiggles, thanks a lot again for your support. I really appreciate that. Next question comes in from Andrew Velez, one of the hosts of the highly rated and nationally known Pick a Side Sports podcast that is just huge on Instagram and gigantic on YouTube. So it's Pick a Side podcast. He has a great question because, he is, it's a business for him. And even though he doesn't necessarily work for an entity, it's a business that he is a part of and is a partial owner in. So his question is this: I'm a self-employed worker. Is there a credit card that would be most beneficial for our company to use and pay our expenses as opposed to using a debit card? Great question. Andrew, using a debit card for business purposes, in my opinion, is a no-go. I would not do it. You have zero real protections in using a debit card when you have a company or when you have a program as huge as yours and use a debit card. There's no protections. I'm going to be honest with you. I would tell you, and to tell the guys at Pick a Side, to change out and get a business credit card. And here are the reasons why. Business credit cards keep everything separate. So they're going to keep your business income, whatever contracts, whatever sponsors you have, you can keep all that separate. For your bookkeeping, if you were to get something like a QuickBooks or something, you download all your charges and expenses and let's say your media equipment, cameras, microphones, laptops, whatever, lighting, that you can put on that side of your business and keep it separate from everyone else's personal. The other thing is, by getting a business card as employees, because I believe there are 4 of you, a lot of the business card issuers will give you free business cards to give to the employees. So that's something you should really consider, especially if you're trying to figure out the how to go about either paying for certain charges or dispersing something that came in or to break something up equally. The business card is your best way to go. So here are my choices of business cards. And I can tell you, I have used them when I did open up my business as an LLC. Here's the thing. You don't have to have an LLC, okay, which is a limited liability corporation. You can apply as a sole proprietor when you do the application. And if you guys at Pick a Side want me to walk you through that one day, hit me up. I got you. But these are the cards I would tell you. The first one would be the American Express Blue Business Plus credit card. It has 2 times on every purchase you make. Easy breezy, no categories. Anything you buy and purchase, up to $50,000 a year, you get 2 times for that value that you spend. Okay? There is no annual fee, And there's also no interest on any purchases that you make in the first 12 months. Again, no interest. 12 months. Right now, interest rates 19.9 to 27.9. I've seen some go past 30%. Okay. So this is, if you, in essence, free money that you're going to have to make purchases that you have without getting that high interest rate, over your head, because you wanted to you needed to make these purchases for your business. So the American Express Blue Business credit card is number one for me. Okay. The next two are from the same family. They are so similar. The names are similar, but there's two major differences per se. Okay. The first is going to be from Chase is the Business Inc. Unlimited and the Business Inc. Cash. Okay. Business Inc. Unlimited, Business Inc. Cash. The Business Inc. Unlimited was the first business card I got from Chase. And the reason I got that card was because there is a solid 1.5% cash back on your charges, and there's no categories. There's nothing specific you have to use it for. It's on everything. 1.5%. Okay. So if you need that kind of spend and you don't want to worry about categorizing and looking for which card should I use in this instance, for a no annual fee credit card, again, no annual fee. And another one, this is huge, 12 months interest free. 12 months, guys, interest free. So again, you can use this card to make your purchases and not have to worry about the interest right off the bat at the rates that we're seeing today. So the unlimited is 1.5% back on everything. Now the Inc. Cash is similar to the unlimited. The difference is you're going to get 5% cash back on up to $25,000 at office supply stores, internet and cable, and phone services. Okay? 2% back on restaurants and gas stations. So if you think about it, for business purposes, let's say you're out on a business meeting and you have the Inc. Cash card, you can use that cash card to get you 2% on dining. Whereas if you had the unlimited, it's only 1.5. Okay. The other thing is that you're getting 2% back on gas, which is very high here in Florida. I just paid $3.49 for a gallon of regular the other day. And for the Inc. Cash as well, you have internet services and cable and phone. So for your podcast where you're using those services, I might tell you to go the cash route as opposed to the unlimited route, because you're going to get more of a cash back on that particular card. Next thing I'm going to tell you is if you have a preferred card, then you guys can use those bonus points, and roll them up and use them for other business travel purchases. Okay, so you would get more of a multiplier if you used it in combination with another Chase Sapphire card. All right, so these cards also come with travel protections for airlines and car rentals. So if they lose your bags, if there's a delay, if, God forbid you're in a car accident, they offer primary car rental insurance. And in some cases, depending on where you're renting from, car rental insurance can be $10 to $15 or more a day just to have that insurance carry over. So if you're going somewhere for 2 weeks, you're looking at a couple of $100 possibly added to your bill. So this is a great business card to have. So Andrew, I thank you for your question. I thank the guys over there at Pick a Side for your support, and I wish you guys continued success. Next question is from Max at Get Funked. Now, Get Funked is a site that Max has he's a huge following on Instagram, and he goes over everything having to do with the Funko Pop dolls to Marvel to superhero universe and everything else out there. So, Max, I thank you for your support. And anybody out there, just look up Max and you'll see him. You'll be glad that I sent you that way. He always puts up great stuff on his channel. Now, I want to thank you for your question. And his question is, when you go shopping at a retail store, do you recommend a particular card instead of the retailer's store card? Now, it might be like you're thinking, okay, I'm going to go to Best Buy. I have a Best Buy credit card and I want to buy that TV. Okay. Sounds like it makes sense, right? Now, for me, the only way that would make sense is if Best Buy were giving you, or another store were giving you, a huge bonus to use that particular credit card to make those purchases. For example, even let's say a Home Depot or Lowe's, where they might give you, if you use their card, a year of interest-free payments, right? So let's say you don't have the money right then and there to make that huge purchase. I did that a year ago or two for a snowblower at Lowe's. I took the interest-free because it gave me time to pay off the snowblower, which was a couple of $1,000s, and I had no interest accrue, and it kind of made it easier for me to swallow that hit that I wasn't expecting. However, in most instances, and even at Best Buy, this might surprise you. So if you're going to Best Buy and let's say you wanted to buy a laptop or an iPhone or something like that, I would tell you not to use the Best Buy card unless there was a special offer or some other special give backs they were giving you that they kind of threw in a bundle if you use their card. I would tell you to use an American Express blue like I use my Blue Business card, but I would tell you the Blue Cash Preferred, where let's say you made $1,000 purchase, they're gonna back that purchase up with protection that if it falls or drops or if it gets stolen, they'll protect it and they'll insure it for you without having to purchase that particular extended protection or warranty. If you buy something with Best Buy, they're going to charge you. Same as that. Think about this. You go to Apple, you spend $200 and something on AirPods, or you buy a MacBook Pro for $2,000, and they still want to, even if you use your Apple card, they still want to charge you for their Apple warranty. Okay? So I think in this case, if you want to save money and get the protections without having to spend extra for it, you should use a different type of card. Now, there are a lot of other cards out there that you can use, anything from Chase, Capital One, especially if you have a Saver One from Capital One or a Quicksilver One. If there's an offer on them when there's no interest for 12 months or 15 months, where you can make the purchase and take your time, and you're saving yourself interest, because oftentimes store cards come in with astronomical APRs. Okay, a store card very rarely comes in at under 23 or 24% right off the bat. I don't care how good your credit score is. That's where they make their money. They come in at a high APR because they know that if you bought that outfit on sale for $300 and you just took 5 months to pay that off, guess what? That little bit of interest every month is accumulating. And if everybody's thinking like you, it's on my, Macy's card or whatever, and they pay no mind to it, the interest is accruing. Whereas if you use a different card to make purchases like I just mentioned, where they're going to give you the protections, where they're going to give you protections without having to pay for those purchase protections, do yourself a favor and use another card, because you're going to thank me later. So, Max, if you're out there shopping, if you look at this, hopefully I'll post this up in a couple of days. If you're thinking of making a purchase for your particular channel and for your show, don't use the store card unless they're giving you a special offer. Go ahead with another card that you might have that would give you the protections you seek, and maybe even with little to no interest, And this way you'll get the best bang for your buck, in my opinion. So once again, Max, thanks a lot for looking out and being so supportive of the channel. Next, this one is coming in from California, from Femi. Femi, I thank you for sending me your question and for being supportive of the channel. I really appreciate that, showing me love from the West Coast. So Femi asked a pretty simple question, but it's the question that I get asked the most. Now, on this one, you might be asking the wrong guy, because in a minute, I'll tell you exactly what I'm up to in terms of cards. But he's asking, how many cards should I have? That's it. How many cards should I have? It's not such an easy answer, because depending on what your situation is, where you are in terms of work, where you are in terms of being a student, where you are in terms of income and so on, then I'm going to, guide you a certain type way. But I can say pretty much without any issue, you should have at least 2 cards. And the reason I say 2, especially if you have the 2 cards in the same ecosystem. Now, what do I mean by that? If you've watched my channel before, you know I always talk about ecosystems. And the ecosystem is, let's say you're a Chase fan and you have a Chase Freedom Unlimited where you get the 1.5 cash back on everything, and you match that with a Chase Sapphire Preferred or Reserve, okay? Whatever you earned as the catch-all card of the Unlimited. So let's say you go food shopping, you go get gas, you go clothes shopping, you're buying electronics, whatever your everyday or most of your spends are. If you're paying a lot of tolls and bridges and so on, and you use that card to get those charges on it, that's going to accumulate a lot of spend quickly. You then take that spend and you roll that up, as I say, to use it with Sapphire Preferred or Reserve, because the Sapphire Preferred will give you a bonus from 1.0 to 1.25 and the Reserve to 1.5 by using it through the Chase portal. And the Chase portal isn't just for travel. They had an offer not too long ago, and Spencer Johnson just did a video where he cashed in his Chase Ultimate Rewards points to get a MacBook Pro. And I thanked him for doing that video, because a lot of people think, oh, you're just doing the points just to travel. But let's say that's not my situation. Yeah, it's not. Spence did it exactly right, and I gave him credit for it. He bought a very expensive laptop that he uses for his YouTube channel, and he was able to buy it without putting 1 penny out of his pocket, because Chase was offering a higher offer on their portal to buy Apple products using your Chase Ultimate Rewards points. Okay, so if you think about it that way, just by having those 2 Chase points, those 2 Chase cards, and you use the either Unlimited, Freedom Unlimited card, or the Chase Freedom Flex if you want to get, even though it's a cashback card, when you use it in combination with a preferred, it becomes points. So if you want the 1.5 or the 5% cash back on the Freedom Flex in certain categories every quarter, that's a great duo and a powerful duo to have, because that duo is going to set you up for travel, for other purchases using the Chase portal. So those are 2 cards, Femi, that I would tell you. On the Amex side, I would tell you, you have 3 choices. The Amex, here I go again, I'm going to roll my eyes. The green card at $150, but they give you now 3 times on travel purchases, which is huge. Okay. And also on dining for $150 a year. And the gold card, it's the powerhouse for dining and grocery shopping at 4 times per dollar. Then you have the platinum at $695 a year, which is tough to swallow, guys, and I get it. However, I've spoken about this a million times before. With the Amex Platinum card, you're going to get the benefits of the lounges, of digital credit, of Uber credit, of statuses at the Hilton and Marriott, statuses at the major car rental companies, Hertz, Avis, National. So you do get a lot of bang for your buck. And one of the things I never even got to even mention, I did use the American Express Platinum card back in April at a restaurant in Washington, D.C., where I couldn't get into this restaurant called La Dante. And they were looking at, days out to get a reservation. I called the Amex concierge line and they got me dinner reservations for 5 people. And it was packed. And people wondered how I got in with my guests. And it was thanks to the concierge team at American Express Platinum. So, Femi, I would tell you, if you take the gold or the green card, they're going to be your catch-all cards. So, and honestly, even if you had the 3 cards, now I know that's a heck of a lot of spend. You're looking at over $1,000 when all said and done just for those 3 cards. But let's say you used the green card as your catch-all for ferries or tolls, roll that up to when you went food shopping or grocery shopping and got 4 times the amount with the gold card, and then roll that up to airlines where you get 5 times any airline purchases that you make with the American Express Platinum. That's a lot of bang for your bucks. And especially when you're talking these gigantic fees that come attached, that's something that I really think, you'd be able to cash in on. So, Femi, at least 2 cards. So, Chase, the Flex, the Unlimited, or any of the preferred cards, Amex, the green, the gold, and the platinum. Then you also have, and I can't speak to using them because I don't have them, as I said earlier in the video. I don't have any Capital One cards. I will be getting them once they're going to allow me, to apply and get them. But I have done videos on the Quicksilver One and Saver One cards. Those are fantastic catch-all cards. Everything that every other YouTuber that I follow, Ben Hedges, John Liang, Mark, Luke, you name it, and Spencer, they all say that the Saver One and the Quicksilver One cards are great catch-all cards, so that you'd be able to use the spending on food purchases, on travel purchases, or just everyday products. And if you use that in conjunction with any of the venture cards, not just the Capital One Venture X, which is their top of the line card at $395, but the Venture card, the Venture One card, or the Venture X, that opens up the possibility for you to use the Capital One portal to make purchases for other items as well as, and shopping, believe it or not. They have like their own shopping portal there. And for travel, if you choose to go that route. So by doing those cards in those particular ecosystems, you'd be really solidifying the foundation for travel, for other purchases, and just keeping it nice and tidy in one system. Now, some people, going back to the question that I had earlier about, to your question initially, how many cards should I have? So, I think I started back in December when I first reached out to Amex and got the Platinum again. I only had the JetBlue and the United card. And I used those cards primarily for my son to travel back and forth from the University of Pittsburgh back to our house in Jersey, right? So I had those 2 cards. And those 2 cards total, up until December, I had about 220,000 points combined, okay? So I had those 2 cards. Then I opened up the American Express Platinum card. I think it was like December 10th. Then I opened up the Oh, there's a thunderstorm, guys. So sorry. We are in Florida. Then I opened up the American Express Gold card, the American Express Hilton card, the Chase World of Hyatt. Then it was the American Blue Business card. Then the Chase Ink Unlimited, Chase Sapphire Preferred. Then it was the Hilton Honors, the Marriott Bonvoy Business card. And am I missing one here? The Wyndham Business Earners card. And now I just got approved for the Chase Ink Cash card. So it's a heck of a lot of cards I've opened up. But like I've said several times, and some people tell me, oh, you're not being honest or truthful with us. I don't believe you're doing it just for your channel. No, I am, because honestly, there's no reason for me to have all these cards for just to have them and say, oh, wow, look at me. I could flex, a phone book worth of cards. It's that I want to show people the value. I want to show people that it can be done. I want to show people that, my credit score has never been higher. It's at the FICO score now, not through Credit Karma. The FICO score is 833, which is great. And, I'm able to do what I do by having those cards and trying out the different benefits and perks that each of these cards comes with. So, I think that by continuing to opening up some more, and hopefully I'm going to win that battle with Amex with the green card and get that out of the way and done. And I can report back on what benefit I'm going to get for it, because I am planning on traveling to Switzerland for my cousin Noel's wedding. That's going to be key. That's what I'm going to, end up doing. So for you, Femi, 2 or 3 cards, I think you should be fine. But, if you want to go the route that I am, I'm more than happy to, talk to you and go over how I'm doing it and how it's working out and how I meet these bonus spends. Because a lot of times these spends, every card comes with a welcome bonus and a spend attached. Some can give you, let's say, $2,000 to spend in 3 months. Other can be as high as $6,000 to spend in 3 months, like the business cards. Okay. So just to give you an example, that's where I'm in right now. I'm finishing up the Marriott Bonvoy card, and I'm going to work on the cash card once I get that one in the mail. And, so far so good. I've yet to miss a bonus. Wow. You could tell I'm not kidding. It's a storm out there. So that's one of the things that I'm going to tell you that you should, look for are the spend requirements as well when you do any of these other cards. But some of the cards, a lot of them actually that I mentioned today, the spend requirements aren't anything out of the normal that you won't do on an everyday spend yourself, if you know what I'm saying. So what I tell people is, if you can move what you have on debit cards, okay, or buy cash for, and move those onto a credit card for that short period of time to meet a spend, by all means, do that. Right now, for instance, to meet the spend on the Marriott Bonvoy card, I moved my Geico insurance payment to that. I also moved my PSE&G electric bill to that. Believe it or not, for those 2 cards just for 1 month, that's over $600. If I add in, let's say, Verizon and the cell phone bill and everything else, you're looking at over $1,000. So in just my regular expenditures that I have, by moving it over to one of the cards, I can meet the spends. The other major spend that people do or use to make the spend requirements are, if you own a home or a condo, are your taxes. Your property taxes, you will get a fee in most cases, but you can put the property taxes on your credit card to meet the spend, because the bonus you're going to get far outweighs the fee that's being charged. Could be 1.85, could be 2%, but you're making that, many times over by just moving that spend over. So don't leave your stuff on debit to meet the spend requirements for your other cards. It is a little bit of shuffling around, but you kind of get used to it. And believe it or not, I'm used to it. So I know with the cash card coming in, I already know in my head that I'm going to put the July 1st, or rather the August 1st spend for my taxes on that card. And that'll make more than half of that spend requirement almost come out. So, those are things you can do to make these spend requirements on the cards that you people are planning on applying for. So the other thing is, I have a few shout outs here for huge just supporters. One huge one is for Vladimir Cruz, who's been, just following me and got into the points and miles and opened up his platinum and gold cards with me earlier this year, got his father involved. His main, just what irks him the most is the crowded lounges that Amex has been going through lately. And he had an issue going from Kennedy to California and back, and at LAX he couldn't even get there because the line was long for the lounge access. So Vlad, I'm sorry for that. I still believe in the Amex lounge access, but I believe you. It's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow when you think you're going to get in and then there's a long line and you still got to end up going to Wendy's, right? So I get that. So Vlad, big shout out to you. I also want to shout out Angel Torres and Cesar Joel for being huge Latino supporters here on the channel. I made a video with Angel over a week ago, and he spoke about the Chase trifecta because he is the king in my eyes when it comes to Chase. And I did Amex, and it was a great collaboration that we did together. He was doing it from Puerto Rico. I was doing it from New Jersey. And it was a great collaboration. And we're hoping to bring in Cesar on a collaboration where the three of us can do it and just talk credit, talk about how we deal with bills and how we think we try to help our people deal with, getting out of debt and how to managing debt and all those other things like that. So I want to give, Angel a huge shout out, Cesar a huge shout out, especially today on National Puerto Rican Day as the parade is going on back home, like I said, in New York. Wish I was there, but, came down here to check on the house. But to be honest with you, these are the people that help me get that will and the wanting to bring this information out to you guys. It's a lot of work. People think that it's easy because it's just talking about cards. Yeah, it's talking about cards, but it's talking about cards in context. I don't want you guys ever to be broke. I don't want you to ever to be in debt. I don't want you to purchase something just to say I got a card. I want you to use things the way they were meant to be used. And by that, I mean, if you're getting a card for a business, use it for the business, keep it separate. Because again, the business will not report to your personal side, which is huge, okay? So you're able to keep things separate. Don't go out and buy something expensive if you know you're gonna get clubbed on a card that has a high interest rate. If you're gonna make a huge expense, try to seek out that card that is offering the 0% APR, even if it's not the most beautiful card, even if it's not a metal card. I don't care, because you know what, guys? The reality is you could flex some platinum card and one day the Centurion black card, the real black card, not the fake black cards that float around out there. And to be honest with you, no one cares. You're paying for something. You think that the people that are out there that have all that money and really can flex on the regular go around, just whipping out cards for the sake of it? No, they don't. Okay. No one knows what they have. So I'm telling you, be smart about how you go about to spend. Be smart about how you go about applying for cards. Be smart about, your financial future. Make sure you put yourself in a position that you get that generational wealth, as they say, and while you learn and while you have, and you can pass that down to those down the line, to your kids, to your grandkids, to your nieces, to your nephews, to your friends, to your loved ones. Because, I'm going to end with this. When my dad, when he passed, I remember him saying, "Papi, why don't I have an 800 credit score? I never late on my bills. I pay everything on time and in full." And it was because he had one card, and it was his Home Depot card. He had made a big purchase, and they gave him you could buy it and have no interest. But the amount on it, I believe, was like $5,000, and the refrigerator and stuff he bought came in at over $2,500. So he was over 50% utilization on one card. So when the credit companies like Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian saw it, it brought down his score into the high sevens. He was like 780 something, 790. And I remember, even as he was lying in Hackensack Hospital, and he was like, "Papi, it kills me that I don't know why." And I wish I knew back. In 2019, I could have told him, "Pop, we could either ask for a credit line increase, or I can get you another card, or we just send them another $1,000 and you'll drop it down to 25% utilization, and you'll be in 800 and you'll be happy." But I hope he knows, in my heart, he's always that perfect 850 score. So guys, I thank you for hanging out with me for over an hour. I really do appreciate the support. It means the world to me. Until next time, bye.